Welcome to the Nerdy Lemon Podcast. We are recording in our new podcast dungeon, and a lot has happened since our last episode. We've moved, I got a new job, but we are back today to record some noise for you beautiful nerds. So, this podcast is really just an excuse to goof off with my dad and do something creative together. Before, I would try and script something, make a game, which honestly, nowadays, just a little too busy to prepare, but I still wanted to record the podcast and I wanted the pod to have some direction. And so the other day I was preparing a photo album and I came across this really cool pile of pictures and I just wanted some more story behind them. And I wanted to embarrass my dad and tease him. And I love my dad. He's a cool guy and he tells great stories. And also, I know he won't be around forever. A slight parenthetical here, he's fine. But he could be hit by a bus or mauled by a bear suddenly. It's just a morbid way that our family thinks. And I think it would be fun to preserve these conversations in the form of a podcast. So, season 2, I picked a few pictures and we're going to chat about them. I hope you enjoy it. Today, we constantly take pictures on our phones. In fact, most of us probably have a phone filled with hundreds, maybe even thousands of pictures that we take. But back in the 70s, capturing moments with a camera was different and it was more difficult. And so I have these old photos from when I was growing up, from before I was born, my dad and my mom. And I find them really interesting because some of them are from my dad's childhood, and my dad grew up very, very poor. And it's interesting to know that sometimes he'd go without food, but somehow they have cameras and they had pictures and they were able to capture these moments, and they're really cool. So that's what I'm going to talk about with my dad, and let's jump in.
That top one has so many memories. I just thought
1977 Seagrove? Seagraves or Grove?
let me see.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
14. And it has some names.
Steve, Alice, and Philip. Yeah. 1977. See, I have no. That's my mom too. That she used to write.
That's her handwriting?
Mhm.
That's cool.
What was really cool about every time my mom would take a photo, she would write in the back
Yeah.
when she developed them to let it. It says Seagraves, Texas, but this was actually
Oh.
Brownfield, Texas. Brownfield, not New Braunfels, not Brownfield.
I don't know. I believe grandma's handwriting over. What's the history?
That is so cool because I really, first of all, to describe to the audience, it's three people. I'm the first one, and then Alice
Meow.
Tello, who I had.
Hold on, before you go to Alice, describe what you're wearing, please.
Yeah, I was going to, but so it's me, and then Alice
Meow.
in the middle, and Philip
Meow.
at the other end. We're out in the fields working, okay, 10 hours a day, and I feel like I have to be some kind of a fashion icon. It's so embarrassing.
My dad was a very rakish young boy.
Well, I'm guessing I'm probably about maybe 15 to between 15 and 17, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
77, I guess I could do the math.
Oh, yeah.
161. It's 1977. So, audience, you do the math because I can't. And
We'll
I
insert
know
the age
Pete
right
can't.
here. We'll insert the age right here.
Yeah.
Post
But so I'm
production.
wearing a long sleeve blue shirt with a collar. It's like an Elvis Presley collar, and white overalls.
The widest overalls.
Yes, the whitest of white overalls. And I'm working in the fields, and Alice is talking to me, I guess, and then Philip
Meow.
on side. But two wonderful, wonderful people. I still know them somewhat. I don't see them very often. But yeah, that's I had kind of a crush on Alice. She's a very pretty girl. And Philip was like he's a character. He used to sing mariachi song or very traditional Mexican songs when he would work out in the fields, and he had a very loud. And he's probably about my same age there, I guess, whatever age that is. And
So cool.
again,
So if you want to see this picture, you can follow the podcast social media. Follow us on Coffee to see some extra behind the scenes stuff.
Oh,
I am
coffee.
going to blur out their faces and bleep out the
Of
last
course.
names just because, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to be on a
Yeah,
podcast
yeah,
probably.
yeah. They probably don't.
How old are they? How old do you think? Are they your age now?
Well, yeah, because if we're all the same age there, they don't
Oh,
progress. They don't
I forgot that
become
part. I
older than
wasn't
me.
listening.
Actually, what it is she's probably about a year younger than Philip. It's
Okay.
like our family. My mom had one after the other, and
That's
then
crazy. And they
some
still
on the
live in San
same
Antonio?
year. Yeah, they both do still live in San Antonio. I saw Philip at the laundromat, and it was so funny because he was washing. I could tell you stories about that man, but we won't because this is public. But he was washing his blankets. He was washing his blankets, and I don't know.
Wait, was this recently or is this a
This
while
was
back?
probably about a year, not even a year ago.
Oh, so this was
Yeah, very
recently.
recently, yeah. And it was funny because my thing was, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, doesn't seem like the blanket washing type of fella, but who knows? I don't know. But anyway, it was those were actually because we would work 10-hour days, but they were still good memories. I really had a lot of fun. It was a learning experience, and it was my first taste of really hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all of us were all
All the
she's
kids worked,
smiling.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We had my mom. I don't know if she didn't. She may have had all 9 of her kids at this time. But what's funny about this one is like, okay, so it was me. Mike wasn't there. He was already in construction, so he was doing his thing. So it was me, Debbie, Melissa. So it's most of my family, but the youngest one might have been maybe 7 or 8. And the thing is we got paid like it might have been $3 an hour for cutting down weeds in between the cotton fill in the cotton.
Now, is that $3 an hour each, or
Yeah,
as a
each.
family?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
each.
Okay.
So it was like $3
That's pretty
an hour.
good.
Yeah, and it was all going towards. We would work in the summer, and then we get paid for our school clothes or whatever. But it was funny because my mom tried to get everybody in there to work. So one of them, it might have been. So it had to be David.
Mm-hmm.
But so David was the youngest. I don't know how old he was, but he's very, very young. And so what he would do is he would just walk complaining, very, very sad, and dragging the hoe behind him, not knocking any weeds down. So one day that we're out there doing our cutting down the weeds and talking or doing whatever we do, and the guy drives up, and it's the guy in charge, and it's his field, and he goes over there and he points at whoever this younger sibling of mine is and says, "Whoever that kid is." We're not paying for him to drag a hoe behind him. And he had to go sit in the car and wait for like whatever 8-9 hours left that we had of the day. And but yeah, he didn't pay him for
That's
yeah,
so sad.
yeah. But anyway, to make a buck.
Now, time for some ads. I know what you are thinking. Wow, y'all got paid advertisers? They're swanky. Oh, no. But we do have some very creative people in the Limon family, and I just want to take this moment to promote them on my tiny little platform, just to show off some of their amazing work. This episode, we're talking about Mausoleum Bouncehouse, aka Maobao. They are a synth electronic band made up of my Uncle Nay and Uncle Jay. They are both amazing artists, just in general, but they teamed up together with their creative powers and they created Maobao. In fact, they have a new album being released December 5th entitled Sublime Milady. Dad, where can they listen?
That it's on YouTube.
Yes, and they are also available on all platforms. Now, if you're thinking, hey, how can I get a little shout out on the show? Well, all it takes is to be a friend of the show on our coffee, and I'll give you a shout out, $5 a month. You can also just do that because you love us and you want to support the show. You can also get access to some exclusive behind the scenes and some extra content we might put out just to the Ko-Fi page. Again, the band is Mausoleum Bouncehouse, Maobao, new album, Sublime Lady, December 5th. And oh, just as a side note, their merch is cool. No surprise, they're both amazing artists and they created some really cool merch. Check it out. Okay, thank you for listening. Let's get back to the show.
it gets boring, but like Philip, he always sang, you know, and if if we were working side by side, you know, we had a lot in common because we were the same age and we had the same likes, whatever. But he sang a lot,
Mm.
and he had a very good voice, and I always appreciated that, you know. But he was the only one, and they were a family of 10 kids, and but he was the only one that I heard that sang. The rest of them didn't. They were,
So I can't help but think, was that even legal? Was it secret that you would go to work even though you're
I
children?
don't remember like I'm sure it was all cash because you're right. I don't know. It probably was illegal because they didn't ask us for our social security numbers. There was no,
There's
you
no
know, it was nothing
taxes.
like that. And we didn't get, you know, paid vacation or whatever. But we worked sometimes we would work on Saturdays. It could be a 6-day work week. If you know, my mom would say, you know, well, you guys want to work. And normally I remember before I ever did this, we were at home and we were in San Antonio. We're living in the red apartments at the south side of San Antonio. I do remember my mom saying, "Hey, we could go work out in the fields if you guys want." And it sounded very glamorous almost because she said, and we said, "Well, she told us exactly what to expect." She goes, "We're going to be living in a small house. It's going to be all of us. There's no running water, but what they do is it's like a bathhouse, and there's a outhouse that's about, and it was literally about 200 yards away from where we're living. So at nighttime, if you had to go, you know, to the potty, you'd have to go out there, and it was literally an outhouse, a deep hole with a built up wooden thing to sit on with a hole in it, and that's where you did your business. It smelt bad, and it was, and it's funny because when they had moved it, and so they covered the hole that was there before. So when we started, the hole was pretty darn deep. So I guess it would take maybe years for it to reach the top.
No.
And I thought, what does that look like? But anyway, it was, but at the time we were all excited because it seemed like such an adventure.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we see Little House on the Prairie, and that's how they did it, you know. But man, it was nothing like that. It was depressing. It was, and the thing is it was a kind of a community where people that were working in the fields, they kind of lived in these little houses, but they worked for different people. And so we had this couple, as a young couple, that dude would beat his wife all the time. One time he dragged it out into the dirt road, and everybody went out there. They pulled him off and everything, but I was like, you know, I felt so bad for the lady because they seemed so young. And I remember he was just an odd guy. He seemed like a nice fella. But then when he started doing that, they asked him to leave after a while. He had to go. But I remember sitting out there, and I don't know if it was me and Philip or who, but somebody was with me, and we were talking to him, and he was building a zip gun. And I don't know if you know what a zip gun is,
No,
but
I don't know what
it's a homemade gun where it would shoot a shell, you know, bullet. I don't know what size it was.
Oh,
Maybe 22.
like was it a pipe pistol where it's just like
I
a one shot?
Yeah, like a one shot thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was building it out in the front, and I thought, man, this is like, I feel like I'm like in some Western, you know, time or whatever. But it was I remember I did it for about 3 years, and then I got into construction. I was able to stay home when they decided, you know, when I decided to get in construction with my brother Mike. They still went. So, which was really cool because in the summer, my dad had to go to work, and I was, you know, I was at home in the summer. And so I would go to work, I would come home, and again, Mike was very influential with the music I listened to. So I'd really get into music. I learned how to make beef jerky that summer. It was like really super cool. I remember, but yeah, that was, good times. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, thank you for spending some time with us. If you want more of this, consider supporting the show at our coffee. For just $5, you can support the show and become a friend of the show. That helps to getting equipment, paying for subscriptions that support the show, and other things. Again, that is our coffee. It's KO-FI, and it will be linked in the show notes. So keep an eye out for those. If you want more of me, check out my YouTube channel at The Nerdy Lemon. I make videos about video games and other miscellaneous stuff. Check it out. If you want to see more of my dad's work, check out his socials located in the description below. He is an amazing artist, and you can purchase his amazing works there. Just direct message him. Thanks for listening to the show, and we hope you enjoyed it.
It just kind of ingests fun and death.